The next question, the member for Niagara Falls.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Premier. It's been 2 weeks since I told the Premier that Niagara's Chief Medical Officer of Health instituted an additional regulation to try to stop the spread of COVID-19, which has put restaurants and bars, the tourist sector, operators and the wineries in a very tough spot financially. Now we see the Premier is offering money to restaurants and bars elsewhere in Ontario, but not Niagara. You can't punish our local businesses because the Chief Medical Officer acted proactively in a way he believed he had to. The Regional Chair of Niagara has asked the Premier for support. The Lord Mayor of Niagara-on-the-Lake have also asked for financial support. Speaker, will the Premier tell the businesses of Niagara today that help is on the way and they'll be giving them the financial support that should have given them 2 weeks ago?
Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the opportunity to clarify the many programs that are available for businesses. And I think it's an important opportunity for this legislature to as well be clear to our constituents. There is an exceptional support that this government is providing in partnership with the federal government, but specifically this government is providing $600 million for businesses in red control zones and in the grey lockdown zones. That support will be for all the businesses that are affected in those areas by the public health measures. For the broader areas where there are also needs for support, we've provided programs like my colleague spoke about earlier, $60 million for $1,000 of personal protective equipment, $57 million to help businesses get online. Mr. Speaker, that program has already helped 23,000 businesses. And Mr. Speaker, through this budget that I know the member is considering right now, direct support which will support the businesses in his riding. Property tax reductions, significant. Electricity reductions, significant, and payroll cost reductions, significant. I hope that the member will consider that as he looks at the budget that will come before the...
Thank you. Supplementary question.
Back to the Premier. I don't need an education from the Finance Minister. Tell me what programs are available to Niagara. I've talked to you guys for the last 2 weeks. Niagara should be entitled to the $600 million that is out there because the chief medical doctor put us in a Section 22, and it's killing our businesses. So I understand the program. I'm saying to you we should qualify for that program. The regulations passed in Niagara means you can only dine with 3 other people, and they must be from your household. Our Chief Medical Officer of Health implemented this additional regulation because he felt he needed it in order to halt the spread of COVID-19 in Niagara. You can't tell people they must listen to public health experts and follow the regulations and then let their businesses fail when they don't follow the rules. Niagara restaurants, the bars, the wineries, the tourist operators, and other small businesses that need the Premier to help today, or they'll lose everything. Question. Will the Premier listen to the appeals from me, from the community mayors, from the Niagara region, and immediately approve emergency financial funding for our small businesses? Thank you.
Mr. Finance.
I appreciate that. I believe what the member is saying is it's important for businesses to support the public health requirements that are being put in place, and we absolutely respect, Mr. Speaker, the role of local public health officials in terms of providing that support. But, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to the $600 million program that the member speaks to, Mr. Speaker, that program is specifically targeted at the red control zones, as I said before, and as at the grey lockdown zones. These are areas where business is restricted in a significant fashion. And, Mr. Speaker, as well, the member will know that other supports available through this government, I already mentioned the $60 million for the PPE, the $57 for the online support. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure the member is also aware of the federal rental supports and the wage supports, where we worked in partnership, Mr. Speaker, with the federal government to provide coverage for the fixed costs of businesses so we can see small businesses through the pandemic.